Yo, what's going on, guys? So it's recently been announced, I think it's been announced now for over a week, that Jake Paul will be fighting Mike Tyson. Now, I think that at a business standpoint, this is a great idea because it's being streamed on Netflix. I think it's not going to be pay-per-view either, so you could just go on your Netflix account and watch this for free. On that standpoint, this fight is going to do crazy numbers and everybody involved is going to make a lot of money. But the fight itself is not a great idea. And I don't think I even need to explain why. I think you all already know what I'm going to say. The age. Jake Paul is 27. Mike Tyson will be 58 by the time he fights Jake Paul. And that is the only reason why this fight shouldn't happen, okay? Now listen, if this was Mike Tyson at 48, he would leave Jake Paul out on a stretcher. There's no doubt about it. But he's not 48, he's 58. Now y'all might say, well, what's the difference between 48 and 58? Okay, if you're 20 and 25, not a big athletic difference. 25, 30, not a big athletic difference. 30 to even 34, okay, now there's an athletic difference. Watch how Regis Prograis looked against Josh Taylor when he was 30, and then go and watch him now, how he looked recently at 34 against Devin Haney. You just notice that his body looks different, he fights different, and that's a 4-year age gap. Now imagine, I think Mike Tyson's last professional fight was in 2005. That was almost 20 years ago. And mind you, even Mike Tyson in his prime was not known for being very durable. He's been knocked out a few times now. You know, Buster Douglas knocked him out. Lennox Lewis knocked him out. And obviously those are great fighters, and Jake Paul doesn't even compare. He can't even put the same shoes on as those fighters. But his age alone and him being active in the sport, him being athletic, big, strong, powerful, you know, I would say Jake Paul is about an average boxer, if not even slightly below average. You know, like I don't even think Jake Paul's at an international level in boxing. You know how Vidal Riley, he just recently fought for an English title. It's not even a world title, just an English title. Yeah, I don't even think Jake Paul's on that level. But Jake Paul has enough experience, athleticism, and he's powerful enough to be able to beat a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. Guys, you don't know how important age plays in boxing. Age is a big factor in boxing. And listen, you know, if the version of Mike Tyson that fought Roy Jones Jr. fought the version of Jake Paul that fought Nate Robinson, for example, oh yeah, I would be backing Mike up all the way. But that was like Mike 3 or 4 years ago. Mike won't even look the same against Roy Jones Jr. as he will against Jake Paul. And let's not forget, this man recently had to use a cane and a wheelchair. I mean, come on, guys. I know that, you know, it's fun to believe that, oh, Mike is going to come back and he's going to beat Jake Paul at 58 and Jake Paul is going to get knocked out. And listen, in case that 1% chance happens, of course, we will all be tuning in to watch the fight. I mean, that's the whole reason why the fight's even happening is, oh, will Jake Paul's youth at 27 beat Mike Tyson at 58? Or will Mike Tyson's experience at 58 beat, you know, Jake Paul's youth? Like, that's the whole reason why we're going to be watching this fight. But let's not get it twisted. This isn't like Rocky Balboa or Rocky 6, where Rocky comes back at 60 years old and fights, you know, Antonio Tarver. You know, like, that's a movie. That's not, you know, like, that's not real life. We're talking about real life here. Watch Vitor Belfort versus Evander Holyfield. Guess how old Evander Holyfield was when he fought Vitor Belfort? He was 58. The age Mike Tyson will be when he fights Jake Paul. Now, people are going to say, yeah, but Evander's been punchy for years, and, you know, he has dementia and stuff. You know, Mike Tyson, he's... No. There really is no difference. Sure, maybe Mike Tyson is cognitively better off than Evander Holyfield, and he's physically better off. But let's not get it twisted. You know, Evander Holyfield at 58 got beat by a 44-year-old MMA fighter, Vitor Belfort. He isn't even a full-time boxer, an MMA fighter that was 44. Now, granted, he was juiced up, but even at 44, you're considered old in boxing. And that, you know, Vitor Belfort at 44 was able to smash Evander Holyfield at 58. Now imagine if a 27-year-old Jake Paul, who's big, strong, powerful, that's been active, beats Mike Tyson at 58. Now, I'm saying this, guys. If Jake Paul knocks out Mike Tyson, which he likely will, if it's not, assuming it's not an exhibition and there's not like a no knockout clause or anything, and it's a pro bout, and both guys try and go in the fight and give it their all, Jake will win. And he's not going to win because he's an amazing boxer with these great skills. He's only going to win because Mike Tyson's 58. And that's it. If Mike Tyson was 48 years old, he would smash Jake. That's the only reason why the fight's happening, is the age gap alone. Because if there wasn't an age gap and they were both the same age, if Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson when he was 27, we would all know exactly what would happen in this fight. Jake Paul would get knocked out in the first 90 seconds of the fight, maybe even quicker than that. But he's 58, so that's the whole reason. That's the even playing field. Is he's 58, so he might not do as well as he would have when he was younger, and that's the truth. He will not do as well as he would have if he was even a few years younger, let alone 58 years old. I mean, we cannot delude ourselves into believing that Mike Tyson, after I don't even know if he's even been training since the Roy Jones Jr. fight. Has he even been training? I mean, he smokes weed all the time. He takes mushrooms. Does he even train? I mean, legitimately, do we even know if this guy's trained since the Roy Jones Jr. fight? Because Mike Tyson, for years, wouldn't even work out before the Roy Jones Jr. fight. Wouldn't even work out because he said he didn't want to inflate his ego, But then he was on some big mushroom trip, and I don't know what happened that made him decide to come back, but he came back. And, again, he looked good for a 54-year-old against Roy Jones Jr. But guess what? That's Roy Jones Jr. He was 51 at the time. He's not going to look like how he did against Roy Jones Jr., who was 51, against a 27-year-old in their prime, Jake Paul. It's just not even going to be comparable. So I think people need to, they need to stop deluding themselves into believing that something is going to happen that will not happen. Listen, they're going to promote this fight as Jake Paul's taking a huge test, and he's going to be fighting the most voracious puncher that heavyweight boxing's ever seen. Yeah, has ever seen 30 years ago. Way back in the 80s and 90s. Not in 2024 when he's 58. And I hear this, Mike Tyson, power is one of the last things that will leave you as you get older. I don't even think Mike Tyson's power is going to look the same at 58. I mean, let's be honest. Let's look back at the Roy Jones Jr. fight. Now, there was rumors that there was a no knockout clause, but let's be honest. When you look at Mike Tyson against Roy Jones Jr. that happened 3 years ago, he looked good, but did his power look the same? No, it didn't. So if he can't even put out, assuming that there was no knockout clause and that was everything he had to offer in the Roy Jones Jr. fight, if he can't even put away a 51-year-old Roy Jones Jr., do you think he's going to be able to put away a 27-year-old that's in their athletic prime? I mean, guys, if you're watching this video and you think Mike Tyson is going to beat Jake Paul, there's a 1% chance. If Jake Paul just sits still and says, Mike, come at me. Hit me with a 3-piece combo. I'm just going to let you hit me. Yeah, he'll knock out Jake Paul. But Jake Paul's not going to sit still and let Mike Tyson hit him. He's going to be also, he's going to be jabbing, keeping him at the end of his jab. And at some point, if he sees an opening, he's going to go for the kill. I mean, honestly, I could see this fight going like this. The fight starts off in the first round. Mike Tyson comes forward with his bobbing and weaving peekaboo style. And then he just gets hit with a grazing left hook. Doesn't even land clean. Like it lands at the tip of his forehead and he gets wobbled. And then Jake just goes for the kill and tries to knock him out from that point. I mean, I could see something like that happening. Okay. Jake Paul fighting even Anderson Silva, when he fought Anderson Silva at 47 years old, even that was different because Anderson Silva, at that point just came off of beating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who at the time was 35 and Anderson Silva was 46. So we knew that Anderson Silva had a lot to offer into that fight with Jake Paul. That's why I didn't criticize that fight when it happened. But this is different. 47 and 58, that's a massive age gap in terms of athleticism. You don't realize when you're in your 50s, your athleticism declines by every year. Okay, so Mike is not 54 like he was against Roy Jones Jr. He's 58, or he's going to be 58 by the time they fight. Okay, and the poster that they showed of Mike Tyson, against Jake Paul, that's not even how he actually looks right now. That's like an old poster from him years ago, because they knew if they use a picture of how he looks now, it wasn't going to look good. He probably isn't even in shape. He probably doesn't even like obviously he's in okay shape for like a human being, but he's not in like fight shape right now. He probably has like a beer belly right now. I mean, come on, guys. Why are we deluding ourselves into believing that, oh, Mike Tyson's going to knock out Jake Paul? Yeah. You're thinking about the Mike Tyson from 20, 30 years ago, from the 80s and 90s, not the Mike Tyson now in 2024. So if this fight is a pro bout and both men try to put it all on the line, I predict that Jake Paul will knock out Mike Tyson or stop him in the first round. It's going to be Vitor Belfort versus Evander Holyfield all over again, potentially even worse. So that's all I wanted to say, guys. Comment down below what your opinions are on the fight. Please comment respectfully, because at the end of the day, guys, we're talking about Jake Paul, okay? Are we going to get into a huge fight over Jake Paul? Listen, I'm not a big Jake Paul fan. I've defended him a lot in the past, but this is going too far. This is immoral. I mean, at this point, he might as well dig up, Marvelous Marvin Hagler from the grave and fight his skeleton bones at this point. I mean, come on now. Let's like Anderson Silva at 47, okay, whatever. But 58, okay, now you're fighting a 60-year-old man, basically. I mean, come on now. You got to have some kind of moral compass after a certain point. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one.